I'm Miss R, and today we're going to be talking about the organization of Congress. Congress is bicameral, and there's two separate houses. One is the House of Representatives, and the other is the Senate. And there are a few key differences between them. For starters, the House is much larger than the Senate, with over 435 members. Additionally, House members only serve 2-year terms, whereas Senate members are in office for 6-year terms. House members only have to be 25 years old, whereas a Senate member must be at least 30 years old. House members also have much smaller districts. So, for example, in Ohio, we have 16 districts, and each individual district has its own House member, whereas we only have 2 senators, and they serve the entire state. In this way, House members have a lot less prestige than Senate members do. The Senate is considered the upper house. Congress reorganizes itself following each election when the new term begins, so this is every 2 years. A great deal of work done by Congress is done along partisan or party lines. Whichever party acquires the larger number of seats in each house is called the majority party. The second largest party is called the minority party. The majority power is considered the party in power. The members choose their leader, who then swears in the members of Congress for the term. There's a lot of different leadership roles within Congress, and the diagram here shows how it's organized. We're going to be talking about each of the different leadership positions for each side of Congress. The leader of the House of Representatives is called the Speaker of the House. The Speaker of the House is the next person in line for office of President following the Vice President. So, if the President were to be unable to continue serving his position, the Vice President would take over. And if for some reason the Vice President could not fulfill his or her duties, then the Speaker of the House would take over. After the Speaker of the House is chosen, the chairman of the permanent committees are then appointed, and these are generally members of the majority party, which you'll recall is the party in power. The Speaker of the House actually has a lot of power. He or she is the highest official and presiding officer in the House. He or she often delegates the power to preside over debates to others. They have the authority to decide in what order the members actually get to speak, and members of Congress cannot speak unless they're recognized by the Speaker. The Speaker of the House also appoints the members of select committees and conference committees. They decide which bills go to which committees for consideration. The Senate is set up a little bit differently. Only 1/3 of senators are up for re-election every term, or every 2 years, because senators serve 6-year terms. The start of the new session in the Senate does not always require reorganization, since most of the members are returning. Most committee leaders will also stay in the same position from one session to the next. This means the Senate doesn't have to reorganize themselves as often as the House does. The leader of the Senate is officially the Vice President of the United States. However, they choose a leader known as the President pro tempore of the Senate to oversee their work. The Vice President doesn't really take part in any congressional action or debate and mainly serves to break ties within the Senate. The longest-serving senator from the majority party is customarily appointed as President pro tempore. The majority leader, just below the President pro tempore, typically exercises leadership power in the Senate. Essentially, the Vice President and President pro tempore essentially serve as figureheads in the leadership of the Senate. The Senate Majority Leader is the one most responsible and has the most duties. The current Vice President is Mike Pence, so he is technically the head of the Senate. Beneath him is the President pro tempore, Hatch Oren, and the Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell. In both houses of Congress, both the Senate and the House of Representatives, the next most powerful positions are that of the majority and minority leaders. Their task is to ensure the success of legislation that their party favors. So, for example, the Republicans are currently in power in both houses, so the majority leader for both houses will be a Republican. Democrats are in the minority leader for both houses, so the minority leader in both the Senate and the House will be a Democrat. The minority and majority leaders are assisted in this task by the assistant floor leaders, which are called the whips. Whips are charged with the task of convincing members of their party to vote the way their party leaders want. Other congressional officials with a great deal of power are the committee chairmen. Members of Congress are assigned to committees based on their preferences, expertise, and seniority. Chairmen are chosen by their seniority. So to review, in the Senate, The official head is the Vice President of the United States. Beneath them is the senior ranking member of the majority party, or the one that's been there the longest, and they are the President pro tempore. Beneath them are the majority and minority leaders and the majority and minority whips. In the House of Representatives, the Speaker of the House is the leader. Beneath them, again, are the majority and minority leaders and the majority and minority whips.